I am exploring the Sulawesi rainforest alone, surviving for 100 days deep in the jungle. A long adventure to understand the forest on a deeper level, finding various food sources in the wild and processing every ingredient I find into a decent meal. The skill of processing food is the key to surviving in the forest, living a nomadic lifestyle day by day, providing education on how to forage in the wild, crossing the wilderness and encountering various primates endemic to Sulawesi. A challenging adventure to find a safe location to build a shelter, gaining new experience in building a comfortable bushcraft shelter, demonstrating the correct way to build a fire in the wild, and processing wild jungle fowl into a delicious meal. This is the story of Solo Bobby Survives Adventure exploring the wilderness. Enjoy the show. Today is my third day in the Sulawesi rainforest, exploring and conducting deep research on the rich biodiversity here, observing and ensuring this forest is in good condition, as well as training myself to survive in this magical land. Stories I will share in a moment. Welcome to episode 3. This morning, I'm going to find ingredients for breakfast. I need some additional items to cook the river crab I caught last night.
Wow, I found a very wide mushroom here. Look, the shape is beautiful. I need to check if this mushroom is edible. It turns out to be a jumbo version of the turkey tail mushroom. Its scientific name is Trametes versicolor, from the genus Trametes, belonging to the Polyporaceae family. It's huge. Look, this mushroom is much wider than my palm. To know if it's toxic or not, I need to test it carefully. I'm picking it now. This mushroom has a fan-shaped or semicircular cap with concentric zones of color, resembling a turkey's tail. That's why it's nicknamed the turkey tail mushroom. The underside has rough pores. The most important thing to do is detect its scent. If the aroma is pungent, that's an indication it might be poisonous.
But after checking carefully, the smell is normal. I don't find any danger signs on this mushroom, so it's certain that this is not poisonous. Now I'm going to test the taste. The texture is very tough. It feels like eating a sandal, and it tastes bland. However, the good news is this mushroom contains polysaccharide peptide, PSP, and polysaccharide crestin, PSK, making it useful for medicinal purposes, like preventing inflammation, fighting infections, and potentially acting as an anti-cancer agent. So the conclusion is, even though it's not poisonous, it's not suitable as food because of the bland taste and tough texture. I'll look for other ingredients.
Here I found a tree fruiting heavily. This is the cluster fig tree, or loa tree. The scientific name is Ficus racemosa, from the genus Ficus. I discussed this plant in the previous episode. Since I tried the ripe fruit yesterday, today I will process the young, unripe fruit. In this forest, the loa tree thrives because the rainforest is its natural habitat. They are everywhere. I'll only take what I need. This should be enough. Now I'm heading back to the shelter. I'll place the loa fruit here first. Then I'll start a fire. I'm chopping some firewood for kindling, then lighting it up. All right, the fire is burning. Now I'm going to process the river crab I caught last night. First, I'll boil some water and wait for it to bubble. Now I will prepare the crab. Here is the river crab. You can see how I caught it in the previous episode. This is a freshwater crab species, scientifically named Jecker sinucoida. The people of Sulawesi call it Sikuju benanga. The name comes from the Makassar language. Sikuju means crab and benanga means river. Meanwhile, in Java, this type of crab is called yuyu, derived from the ancient Javanese word hayuyu. Names can vary by region. That's why I always include the scientific name as a reference point. The water is boiling. I'm pouring hot water over the crab. This is the most effective way to kill the crab, ensure any parasites are dead, and stop it from pinching. Next, I'll clean it. I'm discarding the legs. The crab is clean. Now I'm boiling it and letting it cook. While waiting, I'll make a mortar out of bamboo. I'm using leftover bamboo from making my bow, just like this. Now I'll make a pestle from wood. I cut a small piece of wood with an 8 cm diameter, peel the bark, and round off the end. There, the pestle is ready. Before using it, I'll wash it first. Done. Now preparing the cooking tools. First, I'll work on the loa fruit. I'm washing it thoroughly. Then, I cut the fruit into 2 parts like this. This fruit is also suitable for rujak, salad, because it tastes almost like young papaya, and you don't need to peel it since the skin contains many nutrients.
Wow, the crab is cooked. When the color turns red, that's the sign it's ready. I'm taking it out. Now I'll crush the crab using the pestle. I put the crab into the bamboo mortar and pound it until it's half crushed. Then I add the loa fruit and pound it again until it becomes a paste. Next, I add a little salt for flavor. Once the crab mixture is smooth, I pour it into my mess tin. I intentionally kept it slightly coarse so the texture remains crunchy. I cook the crab paste again until the aroma comes out. Done! It's cooked! I'm serving it on a wooden plate. Here is the result.
Now I'm going to make roasted sago. I clean the mess tin first, then heat it over the embers. I'm preparing aren flour, palm starch. This flour is made from the trunk of the aren palm tree. You can see how I made it in episode 6. I sprinkle the flour onto the hot pan, then flatten it by pressing it down slightly to make it compact. I leave it over medium heat for 3 minutes. After 3 minutes, I flip the flour pancake and heat it for another 2 minutes. The roasted sago is ready. I'll continue roasting the rest. I repeat the same process until finished. I'm only making 3 sheets of roasted sago. Done! Next, I fill the roasted sago with the crab paste and roll it up like this. It's almost similar to making a rolled crepe or pancake. Then I plate the menu using the remaining whole crab. The meal is ready. A combination of river crab and loa fruit, which is rich in nutrients, accompanied by roasted sago rich in carbohydrates, making this meal very filling. Time for breakfast. It tastes savory. The aroma of the roasted sago blends with the scent of the crab, giving this menu a unique character. Breakfast is over. Now I'm getting ready because I'm continuing my journey this morning. I start packing all my gear and ensuring nothing is left behind. Once everything is ready, it's time to move. I'll pass through the path where I set traps earlier and check them. Wow, the snare successfully caught a jungle fowl. Ouch, the spur pricked my hand. The spur is very sharp. Look, my hand is wounded. I have to be careful handling it. I lower the bird to the ground and carefully hold its legs. This is a male Sulawesi jungle fowl from the species Gallus gallus. It's smaller than a regular village chicken. It has a long tail, a relatively smaller head, and sharp spurs on mature males. This type of jungle fowl is the ancestor of the domestic chickens raised today. In this forest, the population is still very abundant, so it is safe to use as survival food, as long as it's not caught for commercial purposes. I'm dismantling the trap so no other animals get stuck here. The jungle fowl is secured. Now I'll continue my journey. I'm heading east to find a water source. I'll be crossing a forest with quite dense vegetation, so I have to be careful because this forest is the habitat of pythons. Wow, look up there, a troop of monkeys. Those are Sulawesi Black Macaques. This monkey is a primate endemic to Sulawesi, named Macaca maura, or the dare monkey. They have black fur and a short tail that is barely visible. They have a very tight social hierarchy. Macaca maura live in groups and communicate intensely through grooming and vocalization. They are omnivores, meaning they eat fruits and small invertebrates. Pongi fruit and figs are their staple foods. They inhabit the rainforests of Sulawesi, specifically in South Sulawesi, Maros Regency. Macaca maura plays an important role in this forest ecosystem as seed dispersers. However, it is a pity that Macaca maura is currently listed as an endangered species due to declining populations caused by deforestation and poaching. Therefore, Macaca maura is recorded as a protected endemic primate, so we must not disturb them. Now, I'll continue my journey. I've found a small river here. I'll follow it to find a suitable location to build a shelter. Wow, look, this small stream is beautiful. I'll look for an ideal camping spot around here. I found a slightly open area. I'll check the feasibility of this place immediately. I'll keep the jungle fowl here first, staking the rope so it doesn't escape. Then I ensure this location is safe for camping. I'll put my backpack here. The location is quite open with several towering trees around it. It's ideal for building a shelter because access to water is very close. But since this is by the riverbank, I have to watch the water level in case of flooding. This rock indicates the high water mark, meaning I shouldn't camp lower than this line. So I will build the shelter above this limit. Now I'll start clearing the area. I'm clearing the bushes just enough for the size of the shelter I want to build.
I'll also collect the leaves for roofing material. Then I clean up the sloping part. The spot is clean. Now I'm going to find materials for the shelter frame. I've found a lot of fallen trees here. I'll collect them for the frame. The wood is gathered. Now I'll tie them using natural vines. The wood is ready. Now I will transport it to the shelter site. Once the wood is gathered, it's time to build. I plant the first post firmly. Then the second one. I install the center beam like this. Next, I install the roof frame, like this. Then I make shorter pieces to make the frame sturdy. Now I'll look for natural cordage to lash the shelter frame. I found plenty of natural vines here. These are hanging roots from the ara plant. These vines are very strong. I'll collect them. Got enough vines. Now I'm heading back to the shelter. Next, I lash the frame tightly. Then I tidy up the frame structure. Now I'll make the bed. I need a base. Not far from the shelter, I found a fallen log. I'll use this as the foundation. I cut the wood into several parts first. To ensure equal length, I measure them using a measuring stick made of wood. I only need 3 logs. That's enough. Now I'll transport them to the shelter. Next, I place these logs inside the shelter. They will serve as the bed foundation. Then I arrange smaller sticks on top until full and tidy them up. Next, I stake the floor so the wood doesn't shift. Now I clamp the floor. Then I tie it down tightly so the surface is flat and won't hurt my body when I sleep later. The shelter floor is done. Now I will continue installing the roof frame. I lash all the frame bones tightly. After everything is secured, I trim the ends. The main frame is ready. Since I'm short on roofing material, I'll gather more. I collect just enough bush leaves. Now I will transport them to the shelter. Roofing materials are ready.
Now I will install the roof. I arrange the leaves on the shelter frame. The layering must start from the bottom so rainwater can flow off properly. The main roof is done. Now I'll make the terrace. I'm making a simple terrace here. Now I will install the roof. Done. The terrace roof is ready. Now I will make the walls. I'm making the walls from leaves here. The wall materials are ready. Now I will install the shelter walls. The shelter is finished. Here is the result. Now I'll secure my backpack inside the shelter. I'll put the pack here and store my bow here. Now I will gather firewood. There's a lot of dead wood here. I'll carry it to the shelter. After the firewood is gathered, I will chop it into pieces. Next, I will split the wood using my axe. Plenty of firewood now. I'll stack it in front of the shelter. The firewood stack is done. Now I will make the fire pit. I place 3 medium-sized stones to form a triangle pattern. The stove is ready. Since I'm bored with sago dishes, I'm going to look for some palm shoots to accompany the jungle fowl. There is the sarai tree. I'll climb up to get it. Here is the tree. This is the sarai plant. I explained this plant in episodes 3 and 5. I'll take the palm shoot. I only need 2 stems here. This is enough. Now I'm heading back to the shelter.
The sarai palm shoot is secured. Now I'll process the jungle fowl. First, I'll make a grilling tool. I shape a medium-sized stick with a saw to create a slit like this. Then insert small sticks into the slit. I tie it tight and repeat until all slots are filled. The grilling clamp is ready, like this. Now I will light the fire. I pile the firewood into the stove. Then I light it. I have no trouble starting a fire here because the wood is very dry, so it burns easily. The fire is burning. Before butchering the animal, I'll sharpen my machete first. I'll sharpen it using a stone. Here is the stone. In this forest, it's very easy to find whetstones like this, so I don't need to carry a sharpening stone everywhere because there are plenty of them in the forest. Now I will sharpen the machete until it's sharp. This is the correct way to sharpen a machete.
The machete is sharp. Now it is time to execute the jungle fowl. I catch the bird first. I have to be careful handling it so I don't get pricked by the spur. This is how to slaughter a jungle fowl when you are alone. Hold the wings with one hand and simultaneously pull the neck. This pressure will ensure the bird feels no pain. Now it is time for the execution. I've censored the image here because this scene is very sensitive. Once the chicken is calm, it's time to pluck the feathers. I singe the chicken over the fire first, so the feathers aren't too hard. Then I pluck them until completely clean. The feathers are clean. Now I will wash it in the river. I split the chicken open first, then clean the internal organs. Next, I slice the chicken like this so the meat cooks quickly. Now I clamp the chicken using the grilling tool I made earlier, just like this. This method ensures the chicken cooks fast and is easy to flip. Now it is time to start grilling. I will make a grilling stand here. I plant 2 forked sticks parallel to each other right over the embers. Then I grill the chicken like this. Next, I sprinkle a little salt for flavor. While waiting for the chicken to cook, I'll process the Sarai palm heart. Processing the palm heart is very easy. Just peel the outer skin until you find the innermost part, like this. This white part is called the umbut, or heart. Almost all types of palm trees have a heart, like coconut, sago, aren, rattan, and many others. Now I will clean the heart. I cut the heart into pieces first. Then I wash it thoroughly. Here is the result. Now I fill the mess tin with water. Wow, looks like the grilled chicken is done. Next, I cook the Sarai palm heart. While waiting for the palm heart to cook, I'll prepare leaves for a placemat. I'll set the dining area by this small waterfall right in front of the shelter, like this. Now I will get the Sarai palm heart. The heart is cooked. Now it is time for serving. I open the grilling clamp first, then serve the boiled palm heart on the wooden plate. Here is the result. Grilled jungle menu, very rich in protein, accompanied by boiled palm heart rich in carbohydrates. You won't find this menu in any restaurant. You can only find it in the tropical rainforest.
Time to eat. It tastes delicious. Jungle fowl has a very distinct gamey taste. It's very different from regular village chicken. This is one of my reasons for staying in this forest, because if this forest is destroyed, there will be no more menus like this. Believe me, I won't starve in this forest as long as it doesn't turn into a palm oil plantation or a mine. Dinner is finished. Now I will clean the equipment, then I'll drink from the river. But don't worry, I'm used to drinking like this. If you're not used to it, then it's best not to imitate this. Night has fallen. Now I will turn on the lamp. Like this. Then I will build a campfire to warm my body. I hear a strange sound here. I'll check it out immediately. Wow, it turns out there's a tarsier up there. This animal is a primate endemic to Sulawesi named Tarsier. Look, this animal looks very adorable. This animal is protected because its population is declining, so we must not disturb it. Let them remain sustainable in this forest. Tonight, I won't be doing any activities because tomorrow morning I'm going hunting, so I have to rest and gather a lot of energy. I'll take off my clothes first. Now I'm getting ready to sleep. As usual, here I will sleep using a sleeping bag. I'm going to rest now. See you tomorrow morning.
The birds are chirping loudly. That's a sign morning has arrived. Before starting my activities, I'll go to the river to quench my thirst and wash my face. Now I'll get ready, because this morning I'm going hunting. Once the hunting gear is ready, it's time to head out. Today, I will explore this forest to find whatever edible food sources I can. Thank you so much for supporting this channel. See you in the next episode. This is Bobby Survives signing off. Stay wild. Yeah.